Welcome to 36 Full Press and Craps Nation, YouTube's premier craps channel. Hey, what's up YouTube? Press here. Good morning and welcome to my channel. This is 36 Full Press, and with today's episode, a little trip report from my previous stated drive-in to the Jack's Cleveland downtown on a Friday night. So I was kind of expecting, with it being midnight, it being a busy, packed night. But what I didn't expect was just the fact that they just didn't have all of their tables open. Downtown Cleveland and a packed night with nothing else really open to do, and they have 5 tables. So they actually have 8 tables there, but only 5 of them were open. So I didn't really quite understand that. So I got there, I'm not really quite sure exactly, I think like 11:30-ish or something. It was a good 35-40 minutes. I was upstairs, downstairs, just waiting for a spot to open. With that being said, I was just kind of watching, seeing what was going on. Dice were rolling pretty good. Ran into a couple people that I'm pretty familiar with. Just trying to get kind of like a table report, and dude plays dark side. He said he was getting smacked around a little bit, which, I can see that. Actually, to the label, he asked me for $25, which, on a $25 table, I'm not really quite sure what he was going to do with it, but he's a good buddy of mine, so I just floated him the nickel anyways, or the green. But I guess what I wanted to do with this is kind of like a little key takeaway, right? So how I look at playing craps is time over money, like a business, right? Time invested versus money earned. So I'm actually quite disappointed with the fact that I bought in for $600 and cashed out with $670. That's after my tip. So I only took away $70. And yeah, everybody's like, oh, $70, that's not bad. The problem is I literally was on the table for an hour and 15 minutes after waiting for 45 minutes. And, to the, it's not really anybody's fault, but the last person I was actually waiting, I had my money out there, was just waiting from the 7 out, had a pretty decent roll, ended up turning it into a blender, collecting what I could, and then I was trying to pick part based on his roll, playing a little field. But I just couldn't seem to get over the $70, $75 threshold. And that's kind of what I wanted to point out here is I waited 35, 40 minutes. Within 15, 20 minutes, I was up $75. So the extra 45, 50 minutes was just exposure time. And I guess that's what I'm trying to explain. That's my point of view in this. I feel like, okay, well, now I want to make basically $35, or $70 an hour, but I don't really like being there that long, because I feel like the longer you're there, you're giving the casino more opportunity to take your money. I don't really tilt, so I'm not really concerned about that. I don't ever try to martingale or anything like that to catch up. What I do is I slowly progress. I can tell you basically how I played, right? So basically start off flat betting 25. The person's throwing a couple non-field numbers, I might hop in the field, double it up a couple times, which I actually was pretty happy to do. I actually I lost the $25 bet, put a 50 down, lost the 50, put down a 75, and then he hit a 12. So I got a little double in the bubble action. So that was actually kind of, but it doesn't really play out if you keep losing, or if you keep playing it, because you're just playing catch up. So I basically took that as my one freebie and just kind of pocketed it, and then was using. But I ended up, over the course of my playing session, hour 15 minutes, I was flat betting up to $70, almost 75. So I was slowly progressing, pushing it up, trying to see if I could break that threshold, because sometimes you ride up, you ride down, ride up, ride down. Legit, there's this lady came in and threw 7 8s in a row. And I, instead of just blendering the 8, I wasn't really playing the blend. I just basically just didn't put any more money to the don't come and just waited for her to 7 out. So I just got my last couple numbers that she didn't hit. But, I mean, there's a couple things I could have done there. And I guess that's like my key takeaway. Kind of like my debrief is like what I was thinking. Like, well, there's a couple things I could have done, right? And, you know, even a portion of it, once she started rolling pretty good and was consistently hitting other numbers, I just went, you know, 110 inside, took a couple of hits off of each number, and then as the number rolled, I hit and came down, and I ended up waving one number and two don't comes back behind. So, you know, I took some money off of that, but it was like a roller coaster. And I guess what I want to say to you guys is, if you feel like you're really not going to get more money for the time, you're better off to walk away. And the conundrum is I waited 35 minutes and I was only on the table for 35 minutes. I could have just left with $70, but I was like, okay, it's packed. Let me just ride it out. And I just kind of went up and down, up and down. And the worst case scenario, I was down like $80. And it was within one or two shooters, I was right back up to another $75, $80. I think the most I ever really got was really close to $80 at one time. Because how I do is I stack in my buy-in first. Sorry about that. I put my buy-in on the first rail, and then my profit I put back behind it. And a lot of times I'll start playing with my profit and just try to keep my original buy-in bankroll loaded. So just trying to give you some tidbits of information, into how I play. So yeah, last night, easy $150, 11 minutes, bam, out the door. Today it was just a clusterfuck. So many people there, and to be honest with you, man, they were just like pretty much letting people do whatever they want. Buying in the middle of my roll. 2 times they threw from the dark side. Tried to pick up, and I did hit three craps in a row, which is pretty standard for me. I like to throw it into the opposite corner. I got some videos on that. 6'2", 6'4", stick right into the corner back by the dealer, kicking it into the sidewall, pulling up that 3 craps. I hit that 2 or 3 times in a row. Played a little field backside on that. Then I hit every number but my point. And then went to the all 7 set across table, a little short, and I actually cleaned that up twice. The second time I didn't get all of my numbers. I was 2 numbers short. But, you know, I made a couple field, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I was getting beat down, and then I was bringing myself back up. So I just really couldn't get past that $70, $80 increment. So if you take anything from this little short excerpt of my trip, if it's super busy and you want to play, you know, kind of like, you know, gauge the situation. If you're up and it kind of seems like you're down and up, that's what it's going to be. So don't waste your time there, especially if you're like somewhere in like Vegas or somewhere where there's like multiple places with multiple tables. And that's what I was telling the one guy. It's like, you know, I could go to Vegas and pop into like, you know, within, you know, a 20-minute walk down the strip, you could be at 9 different casinos. Here, it's like you got 5 tables out of 8 that are open, which made no sense. So, hey, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions about how I'm playing and turning it into the blender, look at the 3-point or the regular blender. You know, people will ask, why don't you place the point first? Because then you leave the don't come open. It just depends on what you want to leave open. You can either leave the point open or the don't come travel. I mean, whatever you want to protect, you can protect with a point or with money. So it's kind of nice to do either way. So let me know what you think. Until later, you guys know what to do. Press out. All this fucking money on the ground. People just leaving this shit laying around. Pick this shit up. I don't know if you're seeing all this. I just picked up about 80 cents off the ground from McDonald's. I don't know what the hell. People just leaving this money laying around on the ground here all day long. That's why people ain't got no money in this country, because they just throw this shit on the ground. No respect for the money. No respect. I'm playing with you. Hit that shit.